I'm listening to the autobiography of Malcolm X. Lawrence Fishburne is narrating. And I can tell you, the United States of America is the most racist country on earth, and possibly the most racist country in human history. Let's talk about what happened in Malcolm X's early life. Earl Little was Malcolm X's father, a highly skilled carpenter, self-reliant black man, built his own properties by hand, maintained his properties, everything that you want to be as an American. Did not have government handouts because it wasn't really available for black people. And yet the Black Legion, which is a spinoff of the Ku Klux Klan, pursued him relentlessly. Why? Because teachings of Marcus Garvey, he believed that the United States of America was far too racist as a country to be trusted, and he advocated for black people to return to Africa. I thought that's what the fuck white people wanted. Didn't racist ass white people want us to go back to Africa? The Black Legion said that he was causing a disturbance and making good Negroes leave the flock. White people love to exploit black people, period. In the 30s, what the fuck he was doing? Shining shoes, doing shit, doing menial labor to be exploited by white people. That's what happened. And they saw that speaking about black empowerment threatened that dynamic. So what did they do? They actively hunted him, of course. The Ku Klux Klan came right into his house. Fiery torches in hand, pistols out. He was out preaching. His wife was there. She went to the door, visibly pregnant. Of course, they had some good old slurs for her, some threats about the family, threats what's gonna happen to him when they catch him. And then they rode around the house and busted out all the windows with the butt of their guns and took off. Of course, the slave catchers did not do shit about it because the slave catchers are also part of the Ku Klux Klan. Just like today, the slave catchers are a part of white supremacy. Nothing has fucking changed. So he was forced to flee that place. Same thing again when he went to another spot. They burned his house down. The Black Legion set the house on fire. When they set the house on fire, Earl Little shot at them with a pistol. Didn't hit him. The house was burning up. They barely escaped. And as the house was burning down, the slave catchers came. White slave catchers watched it burn down. Fire brigades, they didn't do a damn thing. They just watched it burn. Because they thought he was an uppity Negro. But you know they're using the hard ER. Pursuing these people just for speaking the truth, just for speaking the truth about America's wicked ways. That's enough to make people pursue you, and the fucking federal government allow these people to do all this dirt. And like I said, he was preaching to go back to Africa. You would think that the government would have helped the man out, gave him some fucking grants and put people back over there. They let him go. But no, the United States of America is the most racist country on earth. They want to exploit shit. So it was never about people going back to Africa. They just use that as a way to attack you. Now let me tell you how really fucking dirty these people did Malcolm X's father. When they finally did catch up to him, the Black Legion, they attacked him, beat him savagely. Then, left him for dead, they pulled him on the railroad tracks, right? And let a train run over him. The coroner ruled that shit an accidental death. A white coroner for you. Worse yet, Earl Little believed in having life insurance policies. He had 2 life insurance policies on himself because he knew that this line of work that he was doing and walking this black liberation path will probably get you killed. He was right. But the problem was he had white insurance policies. So guess what these fucking demons did? You already know. The smaller policy, they paid out. And you gotta understand, he left behind 8 kids with his wife when they killed him. The big policy that probably would have had them to be okay for several years, they refused to pay in that shit. They said it was suicide. And that's the American way. White demons would not even pay on a fucking insurance policy. Well, well, well. Of course, her life and the kid's life became a lot harder, a lot more unbearable. As she tried to go get work, because she had fairer skin, she was able to get work for a while. But once those white people found out who she was the wife of, they fired her ass on the spot. Funny, man. They don't even want you shining shoes. So she began to sink worse and worse into poverty, man. Trying to take care of themselves, the older kids stepped up, doing what they could. And when she finally did apply for government assistance, what they do? White people came in here and inspected the family constantly, turning the kids against each other, attacking her ability as a mother. And this shit was relentless. Imagine people coming in here just because you get some assistance from the government and telling you about what you should be doing for your life. They literally drove this woman insane, and they was trying to get her kids from her the whole time. They finally succeeded. Finally, when she began to lose her mind and dignity, they snatched each of those kids and put them in different homes. Because the United States of America is hostile to black life, period. And so this really formed Malcolm X's childhood. And it's a fascinating book, and I'm going to continue to talk about, I think it should be required reading for anybody that's on this Black liberation tip. Go and see, because I knew the Black Legion killed Malcolm X's father. I knew that. But what I did not know is how they pursued him for many years before that point. Burned down the houses, shot up the places, the intimidation, working with the fucking crooked police. And like I said, this man, when they burned down his home, he went and rebuilt that shit by hand in another location. So the man was completely self-reliant, able to live off the land. The kids had to be too. But this is what they do, man. This is what white people have always done in this country. The United States of America is openly hostile to black life. It was hostile to black life when they brought my fucking ancestors over here in the 1700s. It was hostile to black life when it formed as a country in 1776. It was hostile to black life all throughout the 1900s, and it is hostile to black life in 2026. What we have to do is match and exceed these demons' energy. Because if you think that you're gonna peacefully protest your way out this shit and peacefully get along with these demons, you haven't been paying attention. Whether it takes 10 months or 10 years, we must be absolutely relentless in our fight against the white delusion of white supremacy.